Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Alright guys, a couple of days ago I made a wish list about the Boruto time skip, and today I want to make a wish list about Boruto's Dojutsu, of course the Jougan. Now this right here hasn't necessarily gotten the amount of screen time that a lot of people wanted it to get, and of course there's still that outside possibility of Borushiki coming in and actually having the Jougan, but of course I still just want to talk about the things and the abilities that I wanted the Jougan to actually get and still want the Jougan to actually get. Now a couple of things that we already know is one of the things is of course the chakra points. We've seen that in the first arc versus the Nue, and not only that, portal predictions, that right there is kind of iffy, man, because we're not necessarily completely sure. For example, this right here happened back when he fought against Isshiki, and with Ishiki's Rasengan he was able to open up multiple portals, but the Jougan actually gave Boruto the ability to actually guess where the portal was that he was actually going to be coming out of. Now not only that, there's also time space ninjutsu on his side. This right here is still kind of heavily contested, man, because we don't necessarily know, but I personally believe that this right here is definitely going to be that. If you guys didn't necessarily remember, back in the first arc, Boruto actually opened, I think, multiple portals. It was a portal to the Nue's dimension and a portal that was out of the Nue's dimension, and of course you could possibly say that he's able to see through different dimensions. Now of course those are some things that we think that Jougan is already. One of the things that we do understand is that Jougan is probably going to be one of the most powerful dojutsus in the actual series, because we seen when Isshiki Otsutsuki was actually fantasizing the Otsutsuki god, he fantasized the Otsutsuki god having 3 different Jougans, so obviously it's probably going to be extremely strong. Now one of the abilities that I've always really liked about the Rasengan that we haven't necessarily seen in many other dojutsus is the ability to actually bring back the dead, the outer path. This right here of course kind of is a little bit overpowered. That's probably why we haven't necessarily seen in the actual series a lot, but the outer path brings someone back to life. That right there in my opinion would probably be like one of the best abilities from the Jougan. Now I think to kind of limit that, you'd probably put a time limit on that. For example, like a 30-second time limit, or probably like a 5-second time limit where you can actually bring someone back to life. Like for example, if Boruto's actually in a battle, and of course hypothetically, I know a lot of people don't even like to image this, but let's say Sarada dies or something, Boruto has like 5 seconds to get over to Sarada and actually bring her back to life. I think that right there would definitely be something very amazing. Now not only that, of course, if you want to say there's no time limit, I know everybody will automatically jump to the fan favorites like Itachi or Jiraiya or something like that, but I think Boruto actually, like hypothetically, if something like that is actually the situation, I think you'd probably need like very big limitations. For example, you need like the whole body to be reinstated, like you need the whole body of the corpse to actually bring the person back to life, and also you probably need like a family member or relative or something like that, something that would just not make it too overpowered. But I think the outer path, the ability to actually bring someone back to life, is definitely super appealing to me, and especially for a character like Boruto, because of course there's probably going to be a lot of death in the Boruto series, and of course if Boruto can kind of right some of those wrongs, not necessarily all of them, because that would kind of defeat the purpose of actually having a suspenseful series, but if he could kind of bring some people back to life, that would definitely be a very good thing. Now another thing is going to have to obviously be chakra absorption. This right here is probably going to be like one of the more boring ones, mainly because he could already do that with the Karma Seal, but I think having multiple avenues of chakra absorption is probably going to be a very good way to go. Now one of my favorite wishlist guesses is going to have to be like an unlimited source of chakra. This right here is one of those wishlist abilities that's actually kind of possible. One of the things that we do know is the fact that of course there's a very good possibility that Boruto opened a portal to a different dimension twice, and one thing that we do know from Sasuke is that when Sasuke does that with his Rasengan, it drains him of a very huge chunk of chakra. I know it's always a running meme that Sasuke never has full chakra, Sasuke is always low on chakra. That's because a lot of the times he's actually utilizing his Rasengan to open portals to actually get to the big fight. For example, the fight with Jigen, the fight with Momoshiki, the fight with Kenshiki, Sasuke is literally never 100% there, but when Boruto opened a portal and went to the other dimension, it's like he didn't even notice it. It's like the Jougan actually did it by itself, and of course if that's the case, that would probably mean that the Jougan has a separate pool of chakra that Boruto just has not yet tapped into. I personally believe that right there would definitely be something absolutely amazing. So you can kind of compare it to Naruto when he had the 9 tails chakra inside of him and he didn't necessarily know how to tap into that chakra. It was like he'd run out of his original chakra, his Uzumaki chakra, which in itself says a lot, but also at the blink of an eye, he could actually tap into this other huge reservoir of chakra that could actually help him whenever he needs to. And speaking of opening portals, by far one of my favorite abilities from dojutsus has to be the Kamui. And it's not just necessarily the regular Kamui where you can actually open portals and actually teleport yourself. I think the best part about that ability, just my personal opinion, is when you actually make yourself like intangible. Like Obito could literally become intangible. People could actually not be able to touch him for a solid like 5 minutes back in the day. I think if Boruto has that ability, it would definitely make his character a lot better, man, because the fight scenes that Boruto would actually be in would be a lot more tactical. The enemies would have to work a lot harder to actually even touch Boruto, and not only that, it would make Boruto a lot more slippery in battles. Now the next one is going to be a chakra mode. I think the biggest draw to a chakra mode with the Jougan is pretty much just boosting and amping Boruto's overall speed and strength. I think that right there would definitely be super appealing to Boruto, especially because it may actually equal the playing field between him and a bunch of other cyborgs out there that actually boost their speed and strength by just flat out ninja technology. And if the other thing that I did list on the wish list actually comes through to fruition, where the Jougan has an enormous other pool of chakra that Boruto just doesn't tap into, I think that a chakra mode would definitely be possible. Again, it's really just to amp Boruto's speed and strength, and of course we've seen something like this already before because of the Rasengan. And now I'm not necessarily saying it's a certain that Boruto's Jougan is going to have a chakra mode, I'm just saying that it's definitely possible because we've already seen it before. Now the last thing that I do want to say is probably some crazy genjutsu. One thing that we do already know is the fact that Boruto can actually see people's chakra points with the Jougan. I think that if he's able to actually manipulate people's chakra points, it would probably be able to put a lot of people in some crazy genjutsus. And I think everybody can kind of agree with this. It was super cool, like back in the day when Itachi or like Madara or like Sasuke would just open their eyes and then their enemies would just go into an insane genjutsu. If Boruto has the ability to do that, I'd be super happy to see that as well. But let me know what you guys think about the wish list in the comment section below. And of course, this right here is going to be super important. Name some of the abilities that you guys would want to see in Boruto's Jougan, or name some of the abilities that you guys want to see Boruto's Jougan actually have. But it's me, your boy Baara, and we out.
It's a knife.